you see that poll I put up? I said 20% of people are still hooking up with people they shouldn't be.
Well, I saw that. So when you say shouldn't be, what are we classifying that as? Because I mean, you know me. I got the wash your hands hat. I got the stay at fucking home hat. I am like team indoors, and I've been yelling and preaching from the jump. But I think if you're talking to someone who lives alone, that you know is doing social distancing the same way you are, what's the harm?
Well, that's true, and I think that will develop as we kind of confirm. Like, to me, I'm just like, if you're willing to do that this early on, like, I'm looking at you. It's kind of like, you know what, you go to the bar and you grab a girl and you take her home, and she just like immediately goes home with you. You know, you don't want to like slut shame her, but you think just like, I wonder, does she do this all the time?
Right.
So you're 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, and you're like, you're isolating, right? Yeah. You haven't done this with anybody else.
Yeah. No. Okay, so I'm saying, yeah, there. First of all, there's no doubt that it's a risk. So the best way is my thing is like I compare it to when people try to preach celibacy. It's like, yes, the best way is to not do this at all. But let's be realistic because we know you're gonna. So let's talk about condoms rather than virginity. So my thing is like, if you truly trust someone, if you know, and you're minimizing the risk to like as low as it can be, I think it's almost smarter to say, I'm going to give myself this so that I don't do anything actually.
But to me, that's like, you now have a girlfriend. Like, right. If you, I meant it like, are you still hooking up? Right. Because if you're hooking up, that means you're not committed to that person. That person's not committed to you. And what's to stop you from being like, we're doing this with other people too? Like, you know, now if you want to lock down, if it's like basically like, how about this? COVID cuffing season. If you're like, you know what, this used to just be my fuck buddy, but for now, we're not going to live together, but we are pledging to socially isolate. There's a business in that too. You set people up with this and be like, listen, you guys each agree.
It's a proposal. You got to like sit down on
boyfriend girlfriend, but we're quarantine boyfriend girlfriend.
You know what this is? This is the beginning of our idea that we've talked about in the past that Black Mirror did. Like, this is the beginning of relationship expiration dates. It's like, you know, you're my neighbor, or we were talking. Let's just be each other's release, each other's outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And this expires when we go. And now, don't get me wrong, the same way that I was saying you could be a fuckboy, and you said, well, what about when this ends? It's going to get messy. If you agree, you know, June 1st, when this is over, we're over. Someone catches feelings, but that's like, any relationship is like that. If you at least start out with the agreement that there's going to be an opt-out, that there's a termination date, it's the beginning of a revolution.
And I think it should be encouraged because, you know, I listened to Erica's new podcast, Token CEO, and in the first episode she said that one of the things she's concerned with is that a lot of her staff, a lot of our employees are young single people who like, get their connection from going to work and going out, and now they've just like put themselves in a room. And I'm like, so we've got a single girl over here and we've got a single guy over here, and they're doing what they need to do to make society a better place. Put those two together.
Yeah,
like, moving together. Yeah, you are your it's COVID cuffing season, and that this is your quarantine boyfriend and your quarantine girlfriend, and it ends when the restrictions get relaxed.
What sucks is that it requires a great deal of trust, and like everybody could just lie. But if there was a dating app right now where you log in and you write out like your daily routine, like this is where I go, this is where I don't go. This was the last time I had outside contact. I go to the grocery store, but that's it. And then this person is on your level of social distancing. Like, you guys are equal in your attempts to distance. You guys are good.
And you have to share your location. So that person can like check in on you and see, you know, like that's not a great situation for trust in a normal relationship. But here you're going outside, and you know what? If I'm going outside, I'm gonna ping my my little you know, whatever buddy this is, and be like, I'm going to the supermarket. Like, if you want to FaceTime, I will FaceTime the whole way. Like, but you know, we're trying to establish trust here. You know.
I think it's more. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out a way where I can get laid, but it's like I think that you do have to, like I said, this is gonna last a lot longer. So whether you got to go to therapy, whether you got to like admit to yourself that you got to talk it out, or if you got to be like, I don't know, I'm gonna like fuck my neighbor. Like it's very. I don't want to like. I don't want to like condone that because it is ultimately a risk. You know, people will say whatever they need to say to get laid, and if they're not telling the truth, we're talking about potentially killing grandma. But if you really could know for a fact that that person is as it's like STDs almost. It's like, is that person as clean as you are? Then like you're good to go. I just think that it is like it would be better for the long term if you got to have a date right now. If someone, because I'm thinking like if you wanted to come over right now, I would let you. Right. Like I know what you've been doing. You're a family member. If we needed to do some work together, right. Roan and Dan get in the same room to do radio every day.
Right.
Now, if that was a guy and a girl and they were fucking, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Like, so I think if you can prove it and rest assured that it's real, I think it actually would go a long way to making sure you.
I think there's a whole industry in this. I bet like a COVID counselor who is like, this is how you're going to do it. Almost like a couples therapy.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, you talk to them. They lay out a plan. You lay out like your 10 prospects. You know that these hot girls are like, listen, here are the 10 guys that I think that this could work out with, but I need you to vet them and make sure that they're social distancing. And what they get is my vagina.